Hello, everyone. Before we get started, we have to pay the bills real quick. So, I would like to tell you about Anchor. Anchor is your free all in one podcast application. With Anchor, you have creation tools built in to record and edit your episodes straight from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many other platforms. It even lets you monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now. We use it, and so can you. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello, welcome to Going 19. This is episode 33. Today we're covering the second half of Firestarter from the blackout until the end of the book. I'm Amber. With me are Ed and Allie in person today. Let's start the show.
Hello.
Hello.
So this is what everybody looks like.
Like we haven't seen each other before.
I don't even know who you are. Some lady wandered in my house.
I mean, I kind of did.
Okay, well you got an invitation. So.
That's good.
Second half of Firestarter.
This was a fun little break. I almost felt like we didn't even read a book because it's so short compared to everything else we've been reading.
Yes, that was really nice.
Yeah.
The content is definitely more concise when he's not doing coke all night. Did not remember the significant role that Patrick Hockstetter played in the proceedings either.
Yeah, I'm kind of really surprised that he used that name again. I guess he thought nobody really read Firestarter, because Hockstetter has a semi-important role in this story. Yeah. And also in It. Well, more important in It.
He's all...
I would say more important in here because he has a bigger role than he did in It.
That's true. He has a bigger influence. I guess for me, I'm just, he has a bigger... In It, it's a bigger impact.
Yes,
yeah.
that is true.
He has a much shorter role, I would say, in It, but
yeah,
he has a longer role in this one. But
yeah,
I remember him from when I first read It when I was in middle school.
I remember you said that when we did the podcast. You still remember that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 16 when I read it first, and I remembered the refrigerator. I just remember Patrick Hockstetter in the refrigerator.
The fridge and the animals
that
and the
occupied
leeches
space right back here in my brain for many years. I forgot about the flying Pennywise bugs. Those things suck too.
They were horrific and gave me nightmares.
I still love fun Pennywise.
Anyway, Firestarter.
So that was kind of it started out, I knew this was going to happen, obviously, but it started out nice with them escaping, and then, they're on the run, and they're doing it, and then they're just in captivity and giving up. And I'm like, okay.
Well, especially Andy. You don't even hear him mention Charlie, I feel like, until he's, not doped out on the pills anymore.
I mean, that's probably why he was doped out.
I also feel like once he started to become addicted, that definitely took over until he was able to push himself out of it.
Literally.
Yeah. He couldn't even think of what the next moment was bringing him, much less what Charlie was up to.
It was just...
I don't know what Thorazine does, but man, that seems like powerful stuff. It sounds like heroin.
I did look that up.
And I'm pretty sure isn't that what they were giving him in lore with Dr.
For the lobotomies?
Yes.
I don't know.
Didn't he go out of business with the lobotomies because of Thorazine?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm hurting my brain trying to remember it.
He definitely went out of business for reasons, but...
Well, turns out people didn't like big-ass needles in their eye every day.
Thorazine can treat mental illness, behavioral disorders, tetanus, blood disorders, severe nausea and vomiting. It can also reduce anxiety before surgery.
It doesn't sound like it's a...
I guess it would be...
I guess it's a matter of how much they were giving him. It's got to be a sedative. It's reducing anxiety. It's like taking Xanax or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I guess it was kind of a nice thing, though, because then once he finally realized what was happening and started forming a plan, it was a good versus bad sense where you're like, all right, he's fooling them. He's gonna get out. This is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like you're finally rooting for
The
him
second
again.
they said Rainbird's on a plane the day before, I was like, nope.
no. Yeah, I was like,
It's
why
not-
would that
it's-
ever happen?
And I don't know a better way to play it, but giving Charlie that note was a mistake because she fucking told on herself, and I knew she was going to. Because she wasn't able to act the same.
I didn't. I felt it at first and then I took it back, but I was a little bit like not mad, but I was like, Charlie, come on, you know he's gonna know. Like, pretend to be happy. But then you forget she's an 8-year-old girl who's going through so much trauma. Like, you're asking a lot for her.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I spent half the time going bullshit, and then I went, oh yeah, she's 8 years old.
Mhm.
Like, even when you watch the movies,
She's
that
8
she's not 8.
and completely isolated, and everyone she's ever loved has been killed or taken away from her and killed. Like,
And partly her cause of her
yeah.
fault, although it's not her fault. She says that several times. She's right. The unfairness of it all. You know, I just expected more explosions for a book about someone starting fires.
I do think the big explosion was the Manders farm. Like, that was the one that took me off guard because I didn't realize how much that was gonna be with her like exploding the chickens midair. And, like,
She
like-
references that later
Yeah.
on. She remembers the burning chickens clucking around or something. See, it's funny, the image. I love
Yeah.
it.
A little sad, but
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah.
I guess we're having chicken tonight.
it is.
or not because they disintegrated to ash.
yeah, they weren't not anything left. But it was kind of poetic that they helped her control her power to use it to escape.
Yes.
I mean, you taught her to get better at what she did. What did you think was going to happen?
I almost can't remember because I feel like they were definitely worried about this. So like, why did they still do it? I don't remember.
I don't. Why wasn't she being drugged too, to an extent at the start at least, to keep her like compliant with them?
I think so, but then like they realized that she wasn't gonna do anything because they were worried she was gonna light them all on fire, and then they realized she wasn't lighting anything,
Yeah.
so they stopped drugging her. At least all the way. I don't know, maybe partially, but
Sporadic aphasia.
it's when you say the wrong things. Aphasia?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were diagnosing her with. Isn't that what Bruce Willis has? Some kind of aphasia?
I don't know. That's like when you say one word, but you think it's a different word.
So like, that would suck.
But like in your head, it's like that word.
So I'm like thinking it, and I can't say it.
Yeah.
I keep saying something else. That would be weird. I think they just said, like, I guess you guys don't care about Bruce Willis. Y'all looked at me like, who is that?
I mean, I know who he is, but you know.
I'm pretty sure he just got diagnosed with some kind of, not sporadic, but something like that. Anyway, yeah, they were starting to say she had sporadic aphasia because she wasn't, I forgot.
Well, she would like say something and then correct herself, or sometimes she didn't even realize she would say the wrong thing.
Is that what was happening? Oh,
Yeah, probably because she was drugged.
Oh, Rainbird was looking it up. So, what about the blackout? What do you think?
What about it? Do you think that was on purpose? Or what? What do you mean?
Well, it definitely wasn't on purpose because they said that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. He's just quick on his
Smart.
feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It just seemed a little too easy, a little too convenient.
Well, he knew the weather was coming. Nobody else thought there was going to be a storm like that, but he knew he could read the clouds because he's Indian, I guess. Sorry. That's what he said.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say something like old injuries used to hurt and stuff too? Like he could feel it in his
Hold on.
eye.
Wait, how do you pause it?
I don't think you can you?
Good. We stopped. We started.
Well, anyway.
Now I know I can do that.
He knew the storm was coming, and then he was saying that nobody else was taking it as seriously, but he knew that it was going to be a bad one, so he should be near something like that.
Yeah, and he He probably had half a plan in his head. I find it amazing how if they were locked in there with like the power was out, so there's no ventilation.
That's what I was thinking too.
At a minimum, wouldn't it be like 100 freaking degrees in there?
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
would think.
And you would run out of
under-
air, wouldn't you?
Being underground, it might not get that hot.
I don't understand how the whole air thing works.
I don't either.
As long as it's moving, you never run out or something.
Maybe there were like emergency vents.
Well, they couldn't even open the
air
damn
flow.
doors. I mean, like you didn't have like a backup, key. I don't know. It all seemed a little convenient. It's like Stephen King just made it all up. I was kind of disappointed in Charlie falling for that because I really started to hate Rainbird with like every fiber of my essence.
I felt the same, but it also, in a weird way, it's classic Stephen King. Like, you often get to see through the villain's eyes and the good guy doesn't. So you're just like, a part of me was like, oh, here we go. Like, and also I just got the sense, like, I didn't think it was going to be a super happy ending, but I got the sense Charlie was going to come out okay. Like,
But not her dad. There
No,
was no way he
no.
was living. He
Heck
could have lived
no.
though. I mean,
maybe if he hadn't pushed as when he did, but
yeah, he almost had like a martyr complex going on. He didn't want to live. I don't know.
I'm sure, I mean,
yeah, it didn't even, because even at the start of the book, he was like, do we have to keep going? Like, I have to keep
Yeah.
Charlie safe, but I
Yeah.
don't want to do this anymore.
I'm sure, I mean, they've been on the run for what? At that point, over 2 years, I think, something like that.
It was 18 months when the book started, something like that.
And then they spent 6 months at the farm or whatever, at the ice
And then
thing.
he was teaching fat people to get skinny for like 6 months.
Well, I meant whatever. Yeah, for a long time. That's adrenaline that is going constantly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't say I get it, but I guess I understand how someone. You're not thinking clearly.
Yeah. Well, and you can only live with so much stress before it literally negatively affects you physically.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And especially when you're also affecting yourself physically with these psychic powers.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. Lost in
The
midstream.
point is, how did we get to that point? Oh, he gave up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he wanted to.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. I was reading like my highlight and I forgot where conversation was going. I think definitely, like he gave up when he decided to become a drug addict, or nobody decides to be a drug addict, but but when he came out of that, I feel like he was different. Like like I think in the beginning he was definitely trying. Because I think he even says like I gotta stay alive for Charlie. I can't leave her on her own. I'm all she has or something like that.
Yeah.
But then when he came out of the Thorazine high, I think he like.
Refound his purpose.
And his purpose was to get her safe, not to
Not to
be
get
with
her
her
out.
while
Which is insane because you don't know what's going to happen to her outside either.
Well, and it's also insane because like she's
fucking eight.
you forget
Yeah.
as the book goes on even more and more that she's 8 years old and you're like what gonna bust her out of this place. And I know he intends to go with her because he intends to like hop off the plane in Chicago,
Yeah.
but that's
I don't feel like he ever thought he was going to make it to Chicago, And, like
yeah.
he definitely planned it, but I don't know, maybe it was just a tone that like they just had to get out like the whole book, and I get it because you can't think too far ahead because you're running, and you can't.
Exactly.
But you can't run
There's
forever.
no time to think and there's no time to stop.
And you just can't do that.
You
forever.
can't think when you're constantly running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, where the hell were we? The blackout.
Yeah, the blackout, hating Rainbird.
Still hate Rainbird.
I
I guess I'm jumping, but when Rainbird went out it was just classic Stephen King. Waiting for freaking like 200 pages for this guy to get what's coming to him, and then he was just gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, like torture him a little bit, or get rid of him, or hurt him. He just like, I think his face just melted, and that was the end of Rainbird. I mean, it was a cool visual. Because I don't even think she burned him. She burned like the house, and he was just there or something.
What? I think she did
I don't remember.
burn him.
I don't even remember.
And it's also like classic Stephen King. All these people are like, he has a lot of racists in his books. All the old town judgy people, they're kind of racist too.
Well,
Like the one guy keeps calling him Injun, like he doesn't like him. Doesn't know a thing about it. He's just like, you're stinking the place up, Injun.
Mm-hmm.
You get out of here. Like, okay.
I feel like he is very much a product of his time.
I think that's, yeah. You're not going to go back and rewrite it all, so just take it for what it is. Actually, I wrote that. He has too many racists. On the bottom of my thing. All them judgy old men spitting their tobacco.
I also just don't get Rainbird. Like, I get the whole... Not I get. I mean, the psychosis, if you will. Just, like, it's just so creepy, the statements he makes about loving her and caring for her and wanting to take the life out of her. And,
It's
like...
almost like a serial killer perspective. Well, I guess it is.
Yeah. It's...
Probably, so maybe...
I mean, I'm glad it makes me uncomfortable, but it still makes me uncomfortable.
I'm okay with that, but I still don't like it.
I mean, you're given the viewpoint of him like as an assassin, as a hired hand of like an enforcer, but there's probably some sort of like oh, what's the thing where they can't feel what the person's feeling?
Socio?
Yes, sociopathic tendencies, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why he's trying to see the soul leave the body, because he
Oh.
can't feel his soul.
Well, I think he's definitely trying to, well, yeah, maybe feel something. Also ensure that there is life after death. I don't know, like he seems to think that if he sees a child die, he's going to actually be able to see the soul because they're young enough and it's still visible or something.
Which is also dumb. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's besides the
Well,
point.
she's special and powerful, and that's why he wants to kill her.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But then he also seems like he doesn't want to kill her. He also kind of seemed for a minute like he was like, if she escapes, maybe she escapes. I don't know. Like,
He did almost seem like he was being a double agent at times.
I don't understand. Like, I never thought he was going to save her. But it was, I don't know. It's just confusing.
I mean, why did he tell her not to do anything without demanding something in return? Like, what
Well,
if he's working for the shop that did nothing? Like, who yelled
He's
at him?
just-
Pinchot or Hockstetter, one of them?
Hockstetter was her.
He was like, what the
the
hell are you doing?
the
Whose
shop.
side are you on? Or somebody said it. Like, I kind of agree. You didn't need...
No, I think it's a good way to get her on your side.
Yeah.
To make her believe that you're on her side, I should say.
I want to see him just cry on demand like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the performance, like, you knew it was going to happen. I wish she wouldn't have fell for it, but I knew it was going to happen.
You
Like,
could just see her turn, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
don't. And then he's like, yeah, like, oh, he says, inside he was jumping for joy, she swallowed the bait whole or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Ugh.
it's a
bastard, I
game for
hate
him.
you.
Tricking an 8-year-old girl who's traumatized? Wow,
Mhm.
good for you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're
said that?
so
Andy,
mighty
right?
and powerful
Basically, yeah.
that you're tricking an 8-year-old. It's just gross.
Ugh, yeah, in that moment, like, I know he wasn't, like, the best father at first when they were in captivity, but when he realized, like, what must have been happening for her to get to that point, and he's just like, you bastards, like,
Yeah.
And where were you, Dad?
yeah, right?
Sucking up your pills, watching TV. The part where what Rainbird thought the kid might do if she saw her dad hooked up to a Delco battery and doing a fast poker with his hair on end. Have you seen Cat's Eye?
think we've watched
The
it.
one where he's trying to quit smoking.
Yes, I actually where did I put that? It's something where they said, go on, finish what you were going to say.
That's in there.
Okay.
When he tries to quit smoking and they catch him smoking again, they take his wife in and she's standing on an electrified floor, and so she's doing a polka with her hair on end.
There's something, I can't remember what happened. Something
I'm
made me
telling you,
look it up.
He wrote this when he was trying to quit smoking. Or when he quit smoking.
It was some kind of quitting technique, and I thought, well, that's way better than what they do in Quitters Inc. But I can't remember what it was.
In here? I don't remember.
It made me look it up.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, then, yeah, you know
was...
what I'm talking about. But that sounds like he's describing that scene to me exactly. Hooked up to a Delco battery. Well, hooked up to an electrified floor. But
it's when he's remembering, like, what he used to do with his weight loss program stuff.
What?
He was thinking about a woman, remember? Mrs. Gurney. Here we go. Oh, you will lose... Okay, so I got it wrong. It wasn't actually the slogan I thought it said. So it says, you will lose weight or we will buy your groceries for the next 6 months. And I thought it said, you will lose weight or... you will buy your groceries and like pay us for the next 6 months. So I was like, oh, that's better than Quitters Inc. But then I got it wrong. That's why I didn't write it down. Yeah.
There's real repercussions on that one. When the dance was done, he would kill her and look into her eyes, hoping to catch that spark of understanding, that message as she crossed over. So he's trying to prove there's an afterlife. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I'd want an afterlife if I'm that guy.
Well, just because there's an afterlife doesn't mean there's heaven and hell. I think he just wants to know that his spirit will go on.
Well, yeah, he is Native American. They're very I couldn't help it. They're very
spiritual,
earthy, spiritual, very Mother Nature and Gaia and all that. I don't think that's Indian, Native American, but Gaia's pagan, maybe. I'm not sure, but so yeah, what the hell is my point? I got caught up in being a smartass.
Oh, he's trying to.
Oh, the afterlife. Yeah, yeah. I don't know Native American beliefs necessarily, but I'm pretty sure they're not heaven and hell. I think they're more become part of the earth or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's no judgment, then it's good. I'll take that afterlife.
It also feels like if he thinks that there is an afterlife, then he's ready to die and move on. He's like, I'm done with this life.
Yeah, he's really ready to die for someone that's not sure.
Well, that's why it seems like he wants to be sure by killing her, and then once he's sure, he'll kill himself. Just like, why?
Yeah. Because he does seem, at the end, very convinced that he will die too. But I wonder if that's just because he's now seen her power and knows what she can do and knows that she's going to retaliate when she finds out. Yeah, maybe.
Boy, when he starts talking about,
he could think he could get away with that without her, like with her dying and him dying, just a little beyond me. But
when they start talking about like nuclear war or cracking the earth in half, man, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
I just can't imagine how all those employees must have felt at the end, when she's walking around basically like a walking bomb.
Yeah.
That shoots fire out.
I get her at the very end though, when she's talking to that woman who broke her arm, and she's like, "You're a witch. You don't get away from me. Don't get near me."
Yeah.
And she's like, "This isn't my fault. Like, you guys made me do this. You were the one that relentlessly pursued us. This is not on me."
Mm-hmm. Right.
That he does a good job of like portraying her with like 8-year-old emotions. She's like, "It's not my fault." Like, you know, like I didn't want this. I didn't do this. Don't get mad at me.
This poor girl who's lost everything.
I know.
Yeah, she's very sympathetic in that way, but I can see how maybe what was the word? Where they used to kill her. Can't think of it. Anyway, I can see how killing her might be a better option than letting her live. Because she's doing this at 8.
Sanction?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see how sanctioning her would not necessarily be a bad idea.
Yeah. They didn't even really know the full extent of her power at that point, though.
Well, look what she can do at 8. Imagine what she's going to be like at 12.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe if you nurture her instead of like kidnapping and keeping her in prison.
Maybe, but maybe not.
I mean, that's such an ethics thing.
Oh, I know.
Do you kill a child because she could potentially kill the world when she gets older?
I mean, yes. Do we have another option if the world dies?
I mean, technically anyone could potentially like.
First of all, can we go to Mars if the shit hits the fan?
No.
No, I don't know. It's not looking good for her.
I feel like it would be too late if the shit was going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Because with the speed of which she demolishes the entire, like, shop compound.
Yeah, it took like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like something a little over there, a little over there, and you light on fire. And
Yeah. You would not
what
have
else can I
time.
burn? She was literally, I think, looking around for shit to burn at one point.
Well, she's got to get it out of her, or it'll burn her. It seems like.
See, that's what she says. I feel like that might not be
I
a
don't-
thing. But she just never tested it, and neither did they.
I don't know how
Yeah.
she could. I feel like if she could burn herself, she'd be dead a long time ago.
Especially when she literally had no control over her powers when she was a
An
toddler.
yeah, like an infant. When she's pissed off because she just shit her diaper.
Yeah.
Like
When her
that's
hair
true.
was on fire in her crib.
yeah,
Maybe she's.
but she did do that to herself, right?
Yeah.
Didn't she? I don't remember if she mentions it, but maybe she's impervious to her own, like magic. Her
I
own
don't
burning.
think they know, and
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I think for some reason I remember her saying, "I gotta get it off of me. I gotta send it somewhere, or it's gonna burn me."
I think she did say that when she had finally agreed to the testing, and she was like, "No, you didn't listen. Everything's wrong. I need a tub of water to send it somewhere so it doesn't burn me up."
She's
Oh,
like,
she started giving them
you
directions.
idiots! Yeah.
Do I have to tell you everything?
I love how they were just like, "Okay, all right, we'll get it. Go back to your room. I'm sorry."
Well, yeah, because now they know.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, whatever you need. Yes, boss. Like, that's what they should be calling her.
Oh my god, the guy that ran out of there and left the door open.
I mean, I spent, and it was funny, I was near the end, and I'm going, whatever happened to OJ? Like, I haven't seen him in the second half of the book at all, and he was such a big part of the first half, and then, like, the next page was like, he was like, nope, I'm out. I
He
don't want
ran
nothing to do
away
with that
again.
shit.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
No.
I'm surprised he still worked around them at all, around her. Like,
Yeah.
in that department, like,
Like-
for the government.
Once
You
they
know?
had her captured, to be like, nope, I'm out. This
Once you're in
can't
the
go
shop,
well.
you don't really leave the shop.
I was thinking that too, yeah.
That's fair.
I like how Andy ballooned up to 190. And he wasn't fat, but he was getting
Oh my
there.
god, we were talking about this at work. It's just like Stephen King has a thing against fat people.
Mm.
Like, he always mentions it specifically. And it's also like, they're like, quote unquote, fat.
Yeah. Well, even Charlie,
Yeah,
when
he
she
doesn't know what
sees
fat
him,
is.
yeah, when she sees her dad finally
Like,
after
Daddy, you
months,
got fat.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got fat. It was still him, but he was just wider around the middle or something. I'm like, what?
Was he?
What 8-year-old would think that?
Yeah, exactly. Not like, Daddy, finally, I've seen you again.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I missed you, you fat bastard. What have you been doing?
And it's not like Stephen King was, I don't think he was ever overweight, so I was like, what
I
happened to
don't
him?
think he understands fat as part of the problem. He's,
Yeah.
when he said 190, it wasn't fat, but he was almost there. I'm like, I don't even freaking weigh 190.
Especially, like, I think Andy's, I don't know, I guess I don't know if they mention his height, but he seems like not short.
Yeah. Like 190 on a taller dude
Yeah,
is
they call
actually
him
like
the
a
big
pretty,
guy with the little girl or something, or the big guy in
Yeah.
the tweed coat.
well, big compared to an 8-year-old could be.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, but they
like,
kept calling, when they were looking for him, it was always a big guy.
yeah.
It wasn't just, an adult.
Yeah, I guess.
He was a big, broad-shouldered man in a worn and scuffed corduroy jacket.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're muscular, then that would probably be...
Yeah, like
In
how
pretty
much
good
he weigh
shape.
before?
162.
He would have to have either be all muscle or really thin, like...
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
I like how home box office was a big deal in 1980.
What?
He had a new choice of 3 recent films every week.
Oh. Wait, was it... Is it like a Netflix thing, or what was that? Like
HBO? You got cable and you paid for HBO.
Home box? Oh my god, I didn't know that's what that stood for.
Well, that's what it was. It was like a big deal when it first came out. Every like Monday was a new movie. Like, you guys will never really understand it, but you couldn't just after movies were out of the theaters. That was it. You never.
Excuse me.
Well, until they got to DVD or VHS.
There was none of that.
Oh.
VHS was.
Eventually, not at first.
So what happened after...
VHS hasn't been around like for eternity.
No, I know, but it was around when I was a kid.
But he's older
And it
than
was
you, though.
born-
It's about when I
80.
was a kid.
Yeah, but wasn't this based in, what, the 80s?
When I was a kid.
I forgot how we got here. But...
Because when it
Oh.
was out of the theater, it was gone. Was my point. You didn't get to just because of HBO reference. That's how we got here.
Right.
So it was like
So were there not VHSs when this was written? Okay.
it was more like 80, mid 80s, 84, 85.
Huh.
I can remember being like a sophomore and when we started
never thought
going
about that.
to the video store. That was a big deal when they started opening video stores. Because you couldn't see when it was out of the theater. It was just gone unless you happened to catch it on like the midnight movie on ABC or something. So when you could suddenly go to a store and pick any movie you wanted, like holy
I
crap!
never thought about that.
And then HBO, like it was just in the theater 3 months ago, and now I can watch it on TV in my house. So he's like a new choice of 3 recent films every week. Like that was a big deal in 1980.
I like how Charlie's like not watching anything. And Andy's going all in.
What, on the TV?
Yeah, because Rainbow had mentioned that Charlie was like barely eating, refused to watch anything except for like one movie she watched twice or something like that.
Yeah.
And Andy's like, "Ooh, what you got on here? Click, click, click."
The place had all the amenities, even extending to a microwave oven.
Yeah, ooh.
There's some fancy stuff here.
If they could only see the appliances that you have.
I wrote no push. I don't know why.
He lost his push.
No, Pinshot's asking him, why do you keep it under wraps? What good does it do you? Oh, yeah. He actually this is where he actually, I guess, lost it because he was so high all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, maybe I don't really understand Maui, but it doesn't sound too awful.
Well, I think Maui is a
It's like
fallacy. Like they put them on a plane and then shove them off at altitude.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was more thinking...
Maui's where you just go get shot in the backyard and thrown in the trash.
Because they were talking about how he was, they
I
didn't
thought
have
mine
any...
works though, just kind of.
I mean, because they were, I swear it's in here somewhere, they were having a meeting and they were like, oh, we don't need him anymore. We're gonna ship him off to Maui, which obviously people listening can't know that I just winked.
Well, now they do.
Because he was being
you couldn't have done that
sanctioned.
if we weren't all in the same room.
Exactly.
Have you seen Game of Thrones with the hole to nowhere in the middle of the floor? Where they're like pushing people in there. They're like 8 million feet up in a mountain and the castle, so there's
actually,
there's a hole like in the middle of the
yeah.
castle.
Yeah, I skipped that
Like,
season.
I don't think I could be trusted with that hole. Yeah, Littlefinger was a big.
No, speaking of Game of Thrones, though, I
Don't piss me off.
I kept expecting Charlie to pull something like Daenerys, like just walk through the flames that she just made and not get burned. Like, that's how I thought this was gonna end. She was gonna pull in the power and be like, I'm impervious to fire.
No, I still definitely walked away thinking she could hurt herself if she wanted to, but I don't know now.
I hope she never does.
Why did she just like break out anytime she wanted? Like, why didn't you just say, fuck you, you know what I
Her
can do
dad?
now, I'm burning this place down, bring my dad here, or pff, he's dead. You want to be like him, go get my fucking dad.
I feel like it goes the same way though.
Like, she could have been running that place if she wanted to.
They have the control, so it's like, you do that, we're gonna kill him. But then again, once you do that, where's your power?
You're
Like,
going to be dead before
yeah.
you get there. You know, you're not killing him. Go ahead and try to touch that door. It's going to be 1,000
Maybe
degrees.
Because she's so young, she didn't have the
And that's
ability
what I
to
kept
think
going
like
back
that.
to. Every time I said, why didn't she? It's like,
Yeah.
well,
she's a kid.
she's 8 years old and she's scared and alone and
Underground in a government secret compound.
When all
I
her
like the-
life, her dad has told her this is a bad thing. Don't do this.
Yeah.
I'm on Team Vicky on that one. Like, she should have been using that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean-
obviously Andy's way didn't work. But
Look at the little practice she had, and she was able to seemingly control it a lot more.
Yeah.
yeah, like 3 experiments and she was like,
Yeah.
light a fire for you there, Herb. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah. Like, cool. Don't do that in front of the wife.
Yeah, but feel free to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can help me all you want. I don't think Norman's going to be a big fan of that one.
Oh, I was gonna say, either way, if you call something the Maui compound, doesn't sound like a happy place. Just because you put Maui in front of it.
If you
So,
got to go somewhere,
Whether it's real or
they
not,
didn't call it the Siberia compound.
I feel like that speaks more to my point. You can call it whatever you want. It's gonna be horrible.
You're still probably going to be locked up
Wow,
underground.
it sounded pretty cool to me until Allie started talking about getting kicked out the airplane.
I also,
And
and
I'm still trying to find that part.
I mean, I definitely could believe that as well. Because why? We even talked about that. What the heck is the point of keeping these people alive anyway?
Yeah, the shop's not known for their ethical values. So we can't kill them. That would be wrong.
Right. There's no, if they're only keeping people alive if they serve a benefit to the government. So
I like how they stopped giving him the pill and just put it there. It's like, yeah, take it if you want. And then
well, because they assume he's addicted. So
they wanted to prove he was addicted.
yeah,
Addicted.
he was smart. So I think I even wrote
Well,
that down.
eventually he was taking it, and then he was asking for it.
I said the dynamic of Rainbird fooling Charlie and then Andy fooling everyone else makes for quite the sense of adventure. And I was like, who will win in the end?
No one.
Well,
Plot
yeah.
twist.
Charlie, maybe? Not really.
She lost
Well,
everyone. So
Yeah.
not even really her.
He's not known for his happy endings, but I guess she lived, which is more than some characters get.
Overall, yeah, it's a happier ending than some.
Than, say, Pet Cemetery. One of my favorite endings. Not the movie, the book. Yeah, I don't think anybody won. I thought it was interesting how they just like, here, take, like they don't care. Take it if you want. Because they very easily convinced that his power was gone. Like, whether he didn't even really need to lose it. He just had to say it a couple times and not do anything. And they were like, ah, yeah, I guess he really doesn't have it. Like, okay.
I mean, but
I mean,
to
they
be
didn't-
Like,
fair,
their number one fear should have been him pretending he didn't have it and then making them do shit. And
Yeah.
they should have had, like
no,
I
you're
don't know,
right.
protocols.
They should have. Their computer should have had a program for
There
that.
should have been no one person alone at any time. Yeah, I like how Rainbird, Blackout, Charlie believes.
Percentage if Cap no has been pushed. Like
Yeah, that was just
Because the computer knew what
okay.
that meant.
right, of course. That's
Oh.
how computers work.
Oh, pushed. Right. Is that a 0 or a 1?
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're doing. First of all, no one should have been allowed to be alone near that guy. I don't know. Can you push 2 people? But still, should have been at least 2 people around him at all times.
I understand somewhat because remember everybody else lost it basically. So like with
Lost
certain circumstances, like they could probably be believed that he had now finally lost it, but Charlie was born with it, so it's different.
Yeah.
I think Andy was definitely, well, losing it in more ways than one. I don't know. I don't know that he was necessarily losing the power, but the power was starting to really fuck him up.
I'm curious why. I mean, I guess we don't really know. We don't get to see the other people and how they reacted. But like, why does his come with pain? But like, Charlie's doesn't seem to.
Because Charlie's innocent. Andy chose.
Do you think?
I don't
I was like, that seems very righteous.
know.
Isn't it science? How does
I
that?
said that earlier. Like you can't have special powers in a Stephen King book without repercussions. Although Charlie was just born into it, so maybe her life is her repercussions.
Well, that's a good point. I guess that's enough pain.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun at a weed party, but other than that, I don't know. Pretty dangerous. Like that, like go to the cigarette bar, like light that for you. You like? She's doing it again.
Yeah.
Charlie, how many times I gotta tell you to stop it? Yeah, what's she gonna be like when she's, I don't know, in high school? And some guy like dumps her for somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, we all know Carrie, so.
I wrote that. Carrie with fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she is.
I
Because-
feel like there's so many parallels
Yeah.
to Firestarter and Carrie.
Well, when her power starts to extend beyond the fire, and she can do the mental domination, and I think she did a telekinetic something or other at some point to open stable doors, if I got that right.
Yeah. Well, she like
I
had
thought she
to.
used the fire to do that.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Because at the very beginning, remember when she was going around to the payphones and like shoving something mechanically
you're
in there
right.
to get it to release the change? She'd used that same thing.
That's a good point.
So, yeah, she's Carrie with fire.
Nice.
All right. Come to think of it, why didn't Carrie have fire? Because that would have been way cool. Hit me with pig's blood, will you? Burn. Well, they burned anyway. So.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like I remember there being fire, but maybe I'm just remembering from the movie and not the book.
Well, it was like an accidental burning. She didn't mean to do it; it just happened. She was too busy like locking the doors, and then shit fell over and burned. This one spot when Andy's totally hopeless, I think it's the blackout.
Mm-hmm.
He simply cringed back against the refrigerator, lips pulled back. Oh, he's trying to get the ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole scene was so like.
I'm like, Andy, what? You've never closed your eyes and walked around before? Like, calm down.
It's
Such a baby sometimes.
I feel like something maybe like he did at one point. Yeah. It's almost like. Never mind. No calling out people. But yeah, like he banged one shin in the dark. Granted.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like he banged one shin in the dark, and he's like, I can't do this. I'm just gonna. The strength went out of his legs for a moment. He imagined he could smell smoke, and heat seemed to rush over him. The soda can slipped from his fingers and gurgled its contents out onto the floor, wetting his pants. Andy sat there in the wetness, moaning. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Well, he's also still like, this is like, he's still addicted at this point.
Yeah. And that might be part of it because he's not getting his pills, so he's
Right.
withdrawing.
He's freaking out, and he's probably like shaking, and
Yeah, but still, man, come
no, it's pretty pathetic.
on.
But then he even kind of realizes it because he knocks himself out and has a dream, and then wakes up and is like, "You need to get it together. Charlie's in danger."
Yeah.
I like how he suddenly like starts thinking that the place is on fire, like, but he never like. So if I thought the place was on fire, I'm like, did Charlie do that? That would be my like second thought after I thought, is it on fire? He doesn't mention it once. But if the place is on fire, it's pretty likely Charlie's got something to do with it. So
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So where is she? What's going on?
Is he still like
is
in
that
drug addict?
I'm going to back away from the door just in case that blows open any second.
Yeah.
But it never even mentions it. Rainbird never felt so much like an Indian as he did when he was with Charlie McGee. I don't even know what that means. That's I quoted.
I know.
But I don't know what does feeling like in Indian mean.
Ooh.
No idea.
All right, nobody's gonna try to go there.
Nope.
Where? What part are you at?
Blackout 7. Right before 7, the page. At the part 7 of the blackout. I think I'm on the blackout still. Oh yeah, because that was really long. When I first started to read this, I was like, all right, I'll just read this chapter and then, go to bed. And it was like 70 pages or something. Damn it.
Oh, that thought, I know you moved past it, but where he said, the place is on fire. Well, that's why no one's come to get you out. They're evacuating and you're expendable. I quickly flashed to, from the stand. Stuck in prison. Starts with an L? Lloyd. Yes.
Lloyd Henry.
Yes.
The rat eater.
Gets stuck in prison after the world ends.
With no key.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't read The Stand?
Not yet.
That's a good answer. The more she did it, the more she liked it. It hurt to stop it.
Oh. So there is pain, huh?
Well, yeah, what kind of hurt are we talking about? Like, you really didn't want to, and you're just a pissed off 8-year-old? Or...
Also, why is the hurt in italicized? I don't know if it is in yours, but...
It is. It hurt to stop it.
It hurt? What does that mean?
It hurt.
It hurt.
It's emphasized. And here we have someone else who smiled, did not reach their eyes. Stop me if you heard that before.
Isn't this a Stephen King podcast?
Right. It was Hochstetter this time. His face, except for the eyes,
Yeah,
ordinary as anyone else's.
I love that Charlie. But see, there's a part of me that's like, okay, so Charlie can read him, but can't read Rainbird because Rainbird is closed off, quote unquote. It's like, how convenient.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of attributed that to, like, at the very beginning when they're describing Rainbird, they're like, no one knows when he's coming up to them because he, like, there was some quote that was like, he pushes the air behind him.
Right.
So maybe
the air doesn't...
He's the only person who doesn't push the air in front of him when he walks.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So maybe it was part of that, part of whatever his general mystique was, that he was just closed off to everyone and no one could get a true sense of him.
What were you saying earlier about that?
So I definitely believe that, but I feel like that in and of itself should have been a sign that he's no good. Like,
yes. Yeah, agreed.
No reading is bad reading.
No reading is get away from this person as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not empty. It's not good.
But she also mentioned the what sounded like was described like a World War II Holocaust survivor. That she couldn't get a read on him either, so maybe it's just people who have extreme trauma in their past.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's difficult. I just feel like in her situation, you trust nobody.
Yes.
Especially people you can't read.
You can't tell one 8-year-old is not going to do what an adult tells them to do.
Well, of course. I mean, it's unrealistic to expect that of her. Especially the only person who seemingly
nice
is on
to
her
her
side.
And cares about her and is giving her what seems like good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Showed her vulnerability.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it took. Congratulations, you played an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You mentally spit on his hands and then went back to work on her. Oh, you bastard.
Ugh. That's just...
I'll mentally punch you in the face.
sounds so wrong.
I did, too.
Yeah, I knew Rainbow was going to make it to the end with all of them, but I hated him. Wanted him to die sooner.
Yes.
Like Joffrey on Game of Thrones. Just die already, see? Just die already.
Well, because, like...
I was so happy when you died.
It wouldn't make for a good story if, you didn't have a character like Rainbird, but it's like he's the only one that you knew the whole time was as smart as they were and could mess everything up.
Well, I would hazard
Well,
to
you knew
say
it was going to get...
smarter. than they were.
Yeah.
He was the smartest one in the entire story, which is always scary because he's the villain.
Because Rainbird still found out, but not up until the very end, just because of the note,
Well, and was the note before or after he did the computer stuff?
He had the visit with Charlie. He noticed that she was cold, and then wondered why did Cap go visit her and watch the videotape over and over again.
Oh, okay.
Saw him give her the note.
That's right, yeah.
I feel like Cap could have done a better job of being discreet.
Yes, especially knowing that, like, the place was videotaped constantly. Like, hello.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he's also
there had to be somewhere where there's no cameras.
He's being brainwashed, so I think that's Andy's fault for not making it clear to, maybe not pass her a note on the camera.
Well, he said
he did say be discreet about it, and Cap was just like, "Oh, I almost forgot. Here you go."
No, that's true.
Yeah, he said don't let anybody see you give it to her or something, I think. Or something along those lines.
Something along those lines, yeah. I expected him to be like, "Oh, I'd take something out of his pocket before he goes in the room and then, like, shake Charlie's hand
Yeah.
and pass her the note that way." That would have been slick. But no. Nope, I forgot. Here's a note for you.
Yeah.
Well, Cap just became a stupid, like an idiot after he got pushed.
I'm not gonna lie, I started laughing when he started smacking at the hose. Just had that scene playing out in my head, I just started cracking up.
What's the name?
Yeah, he just grabbed a golf club, right, didn't he?
I think he grabbed a
It
rake.
was like a rake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
yeah. I was like, you got what?
A burning hose? Congratulations.
Pinchot's, what does he call it? Ricochet was awful.
Oh,
But
so
I
bad.
was just gonna say, Cap's was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Pinshots was pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
What would it take to just hold your hand in a garbage disposal?
And not move.
Yeah. How you doing? Yeah. Nothing to see here.
And
Yep.
so
Nope.
you,
Yeah,
so
it's almost
you
gone. No,
die from bleeding out from that, right?
You'd
I-
probably pass out from the shock, but you would die from the blood loss.
Yeah.
no. If you're not feeling the pain,
I'm sure you're feeling it, but you're not. I don't know.
Thinking about
I
it.
don't know. Yeah.
if you were feeling it, you couldn't not pull your arm out, right?
I don't know.
I don't
I don't want to think about it.
know.
Like,
Yeah.
I have to really concentrate if something hurts to, like, make myself keep doing it.
Right, but if you're in a, well, I guess you're not feeling it if you're in a trance.
I don't know how the ricochet works, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming he didn't really feel it.
I love when King invents these like psychic things, or it's like you have this power, and then there's an echo that creates a ricochet, and it's like okay.
There's always repercussions. There,
Yeah,
so. Yeah, I like how when he was just like asleep, but he didn't tell him how long, so the guy was in a coma for 6 months.
And every time somebody says sleep, he just passes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that time anyone says, that's kind of funny too, that cracks me up. So here we were at the sleepies. Oh, sorry.
Damn it.
Well, put him in bed. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Argue with him?
Yeah, just that
That's not a thing. You made that up. Oh, right.
that visualization of his wound being like sharpened like a pencil to a point. Just ugh.
Yeah, that was a good one. Sharpened like a pencil. I was like, ah.
I also like. It's obviously intentionally confusing, but it's an interesting journey to follow like the echo and the ricochet, and like it's almost like what do they call that type of writing? Stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
What'd you say? Sorry.
It's interesting to follow the thought patterns of the echoes and the ricochet, like, and the craziness of it.
Cap was kind of funny.
Yeah.
What did golf and snakes have to do? I don't remember.
I don't.
Something
happened when he was a kid.
Yeah, it was like a distant memory
Yeah.
of, I guess, a snake in a golf bag or something. I don't know.
Snake bit his brother, and then it slid over his foot when it ran
Yeah.
away.
Yep.
What
And
did
he
that-
was always scared that there would be snakes in the rough when he played golf.
Yeah.
Which was
Oh.
Slice it.
Yeah.
Slices it. Yeah. Cap was amusing the more I think about it.
His was fun. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, because then he would just be like, oh, we're going down to, to Ohio, and then there's going to be green grass, snakes, like.
What? You're going to Ohio. watch out for the snakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carry my bag. Is there a snake in it?
Yeah,
Why?
you should
There-
close
okay.
that drawer. There could be a snake in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost wish this book was a little longer. Just like some amusing stuff that could have had more examples.
Yeah, I kind of wish we knew more of what happened to Charlie at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. I kind of feel like he drug that ending out till I couldn't wait for it. I was trying to read the last 20 pages and I fell asleep because I couldn't keep reading it. Like, okay, at some point, so he had to bring his judgy small town people back in. Like, they knew someone was out there because the doctor couldn't stop talking to his mistress, who he stopped having sex with 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make a very good mistress, I guess. So they were feeling the pressure to do something because of the stupid judgy old town people again.
Yeah.
End of part 1. Okay, part 2. I believe I was in the middle of some kind of rant.
Judgy small town people.
Yes, the ending. If she could have just showed up at the farm and the book ended there, I'd have been perfectly okay with that. Leave the rest up to me.
Yeah, I would have been okay with her going to the farm and them taking care of her, and you either assume that the shop caught up to them, or you assume that they didn't, and she was fine, and they raised her as their own for the rest of their lives, at least, and I would have been happy with that. But her going to a newspaper, I'm like, what, does it get out of control when she tries to show them their power, or has she enough control over it now that that wouldn't happen?
And why are we so sure Rolling Stone has no government ties?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not really buying that one.
Well, and also they were keeping, track of the major news publications. I don't know if Rolling Stone was a major news publication at that time, but I feel like it's big now.
Right. It's like, just because it's not one of the 5 that were mentioned, it's like, why would you think any of them are safe? And also, didn't they say it should be small town? That's not small town.
Well, I feel like it would
But it
almost
had to be big enough
worse
to
if it
matter.
was small town, though, because then they could more easily track her if they did see it.
They were definitely tracking the big papers.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's my point, is it would take a lot longer for them to find out that it's out there because it's published in the small media first.
Yeah, I get that, but
I say walk down the middle of the street, just start lighting fires. Guess what? Secret's
People
not
are
going
gonna
to
know. Yeah. That's a good point.
it
Like,
would
where's all them judgy people that don't know who I am? Come here, I'll tell you who I am.
Imagine if cell phones existed at this time.
Oh god,
It
yeah.
would just be fake. Photoshop.
It's a scam.
I think I actually said something.
I thought
No.
it was really cool when Andy has the dream and then he woke up and he goes, hold on, I have a headache. Hey, that's a push headache. It's like, he just pushed himself, he thought, amazed or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, that changes everything.
He's like, who did I push? So he didn't even know he had the power and he pushed himself. Like, what is that?
Yeah, that was a little strange, I thought.
Well, it made it real easy to get over his addiction.
Convenient for him.
Yeah, right. I wish everybody could do that.
Like,
Wish
his
I'd have had that.
subconscious mind was like, hey, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Be like, oh, hey, you're not addicted anymore. Good, that was easy. I don't know what the big deal is.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought of telling myself that.
Well, I even said he
Actually, I told myself that quite often.
he talks about that when he was helping people lose weight. It's like he changes their thoughts so they don't think about it the same way. And it's like, that's also how you actually lose weight.
Yeah, this is that was probably a bad example on his part. You have to change your thoughts about everything.
Yet again, lack of understanding of people who are larger.
Mr. Walk 6 miles a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look what happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd that work out for you?
I don't want to make that joke.
Are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz.
That was when he got hit
Mm.
in a bad accident that almost killed him.
Jeez.
Was when he was walking.
I apparently need to do more research on Stephen King.
Don't worry, you'll know lots about it after the Dark Tower.
Ah, okay.
Strangely.
That's all we have to say about it.
Yeah.
Is it
No.
semi-autobiographical?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, you can't deny it. He uses the same date, doesn't he?
Well,
Oh, that's the date when they have to make. Yeah, that's
June
true.
19th, 1999. Guess where he got 19 from?
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes it's 19 and 99.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Firestarter. Yeah, I pushed myself, he thought, amazed. Yeah, I would be, I think, maybe a little terrified.
How do you know?
Who's deciding this?
Right. How do you know you haven't been pushing yourself into other things?
Right. Yeah, how do you know you didn't push yourself into Thorazine? I don't know. There's so many ways that could be bad. And I almost feel like maybe he should have explored that a little more, because there's so many interesting possibilities there.
Yeah.
He could have been like pushing himself regularly. Maybe he was. I need a better word for push, like to shine. That would be
Well, he has the shine also.
you push-shine.
Pushy.
And to shine. There you go.
That's a thing. Already.
Damn it! Here, it's already taken.
That would have been way after this book, though.
You would ask a question that somehow pierced right to the heart of the matter. Yeah, I haven't told you anything about your old man, just that he's all right. Well, how does she know that?
She doesn't.
Oh,
She's
that's all
taken
they told her. Oh,
on the road
I
of
read that
another.
wrong. I just feel like he's like, oh yeah, I was in a Viet Cong hole for 6 months. You should do what they tell you. All right, see you tomorrow. Like, it seems a little obvious, doesn't it?
What are you talking about?
Him trying to get her to light the fires. He's like pretending he's vulnerable at one point, and then like in the middle of that, he's like, you should just do what they tell you. Every time he visits her, he starts going, you should do what they tell you. Just light the damn fire. Just do it. Come on, you know you want to.
Of course he is, because that's his ultimate goal.
I know that,
Well,
but
not
from
his
her
ultimate
perspective,
goal,
it
No,
seems
but
a
I
little
could
pushy.
understand why she would think he's doing it for her benefit, because ultimately, in her mind, he's pushing her so that she can get to her father, because her lighting fires will give her the goal of her father, which obviously is not going to happen. But so she just needs to be guided into it so that she can get to there.
Maybe.
Because they're not going to let her go if she does nothing.
Yeah.
So she needs her friend Rainbird to help her along the way.
I had a lot of times they're like, come on, you're not that stupid. And, well,
It's
you're
not that.
You're 8.
I think he's also really smart.
Yes.
He's really good at being evil.
Yeah.
Very
I
smart,
keep picturing
very
Danny Trejo, and I
deductive.
don't know why. I don't think he's in the movie, but every time they say Rainbird, with the ponytail, I just picture Danny Trejo. So,
I mean, that makes sense.
I don't think he's in the new one, but maybe they could redo it. And
He's not Native American, but...
Yeah.
He's, well, yeah, it's close enough. They live right next. Do I have to edit that?
Maybe.
7:32. I mean, they're right next to each other. They were neighbors.
Do you even know? Never mind.
He's Mexican, isn't he?
I don't know.
I thought he was. I thought I knew that.
He's Hispanic.
I think he is, actually.
Yeah, I think he's actually Mexican. And now we're definitely editing that shit. I like how he says that she might get surprised into using it. I don't think that's anything she ever considered, because she already did get surprised.
She
into
does.
using
She
it.
has been her whole life.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah.
Every time she's used it, it's been a surprise. And when she used it at the farm,
I didn't even
Well,
catch...
her dad kind of prompted her to intentionally use it that time, so I don't think that. I think it was
at
a
the
surprise.
farm,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
did he?
He was
Yeah.
gearing her up to be like, you have to use it to protect us.
Oh yeah, he said something like, "Remember I said never?" Like,
Yeah.
well.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but she reacted though. Like she wasn't. I don't think she.
Well, I think she
Because the guy bum rushed her
responded
dad, she was
way
like-
sooner, than anybody expected, and then couldn't stop it.
Yeah. It was like she definitely did not have control over it at that time, and it got away from her to the point where she almost burned her dad.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because she says that, like, if
felt the thing go by his face or something.
He felt it, like, wrapping around him.
Yeah.
He was like, Charlie, no!
If she
It's
can't
me.
push the thing back down, then, like, it will take over.
Yeah.
3 days after that, the fish swallowed the lure.
Just disgruntled noises.
Right, as the rest of the podcast.
Kind of the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Except for when she starts lighting everything to Kingdom Come on fire.
It's definitely a book of two halves. It's like it's almost like
On the Run.
he could have ended it and then was like, well, let's go a little more. Like, have you ever read Twilight Eyes by Dean Koontz? It was about a 150-page story, but they told him it wasn't long enough, so he had to like add more to it, and you can tell where it would have ended and where they like added more, because it's like they're walking off into the sunset, and then it's like chapter 27. Well, we were back at the hotel. Wait a minute. So it kind of feels like that. It's like okay, they caught him. Now what? I don't know. The whole second half being in the building just kind of.
The only thing is,
I wasn't a big fan of
it
it.
allowed her to gain control of her power.
Yeah.
I still say, like, why didn't she just like blow everything up and be like, let me out or I'm getting out?
Because she said she would never do it again.
She also couldn't control it at first, so if she did that, she probably thought she was going to burn herself.
I mean, that's logical.
I guess.
And she's 8.
I know.
Yes.
See, it happens all the time. Starting to feel like a crutch.
Right. You know,
Although-
that's no excuse, little girl.
Yeah.
Right. H-made. I don't want to hear that.
Amber, didn't you say earlier that, like, a lot of Stephen King's ideas are, like, short stories that he had that he just expanded?
Well, I think what we're talking about is that he's really bad at endings. So he comes up with these ideas, and then he has, like, he doesn't know where they're going at all. So he has, like, the subject, or, like, the plot, the beginning, and he's like, if you figure out how it ends, please let me know. And that's kind of what this feels like. Is like, started out with a great idea, and then it's like, now what?
Yeah.
There's a
Like,
video.
started out with a great idea, know that they're gonna get captured, now where do I go?
Yeah, a couple general ideas, and he starts feeling. He'll tell you he doesn't know where he's going when he writes. He just like, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can tell.
Yeah, well, he's really good at the journey, but once they're there, he doesn't know how to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Endings are hard.
See The Stand.
Under the dome.
Then we could go on. But he's
The
real
torture.
good at getting there.
I'm not going to go into that, sorry.
You know,
Not there yet.
how else could it end?
Nah.
She's so mad she can't even form words.
She'll understand soon enough.
It's a miserable.
Something to look forward to. Yay.
No, it'll be awesome. Yeah, but he did a interview with Grisham, and Grisham's like, yeah, whenever I start a book, I write the first line, and then I write the last line. Stephen King's looking at him going like, what? Yeah, he's literally going, what? Oh my god! It's like you know, see the 70-year-old Stephen King old man like.
He would just like throw that out. He's like, nope, start over.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't like that. So yeah, I mean, I like because he doesn't know where it's going. He, I think, is good at exploring what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yeah, but then he doesn't know how to like kill him or save him or whatever he has to do at the end. He's just like, oh yeah, aliens. Yeah, they picked up the dome and they went. Oops.
Spoilers.
All right, I guess I'm editing that out too. But you know what I'm saying? Like once the journey's complete, he's kind of like,
To be honest, like I don't really. He said that in an interview once. He was like, "If you can figure out the ending, please let me know. I hate figuring it out."
That's
But
funny
I
when
hear you a writer.
I honestly don't think he thinks that he comes up with this. I think he just has to write it because it's in his head, like coming from somewhere.
Fair.
I love the scene in it where he's like, I didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was it? Bill Denver was like, hey, you want me to sign it? It's like, nah, I didn't like the ending.
Well, to be honest, though, it does work a lot better in a short format like this. Like with Under the Dome, where you're so invested in the story and the characters, and then you have this long arc, and then it's just like at the end, you're like, okay. But with something like this, you're just like, it's like a fun little story. It's not. I don't feel like it's meant to be. It's meant to be open ended, is what I should say.
That's true.
Or not.
That was one of the worst, man.
Under the Dome?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my least favorite ending ever. Even more so than The Stand, not gonna lie.
And I loved the book.
Yeah. Yep.
I loved it.
That's why it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful story.
You should have just left it. It would have been better if it just faded away and nobody knew.
If the dome was still there at the end.
If there was, or that, or if there just was no explanation.
Or that too,
It was just gone like it showed up one day.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Hashtag hate the ending Under the Dome.
All right. Hashtag the series sucked too. Why didn't they make it a movie? They made it into a TV show with seasons.
Yeah.
You can't do this forever. I guess you could.
If you're gonna do that with it.
Right?
That
Or
would be incredible.
Oh my. Or The Stand. Do more. Wait, are they doing more?
Somebody tell me about a prequel to... Didn't you say that?
Hmm?
Prequel to what?
It.
Uh,
Somebody was telling me about that. Guess it wasn't you guys. Because we were like, how would they do that? Because it goes from the 50s to the 80s. It was you.
Oh, what were we talking about?
Didn't you send something in a group chat
Maybe.
about a prequel that I never looked at?
I think
Probably
so.
should.
I don't even waste my time on that anymore. Nobody looks at my stuff.
Because I remember us thinking, how are they going to be there? But then we got the timeline wrong because it was still, I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't know. Richie from the Ditchy.
Betty from the Levee. I don't know why.
Pinchot is the garbage disposer. You
I
can't
was
even
just going to say that, yeah.
can't even say the word.
But you were right. You have a really good point. How did nobody... Like, everybody should have been on guard for people being pushed by him. And they weren't.
Especially when they start acting weird.
Mm-hmm. How is Rainbird the only one who notices this?
Like, all of a sudden, they were leaving. Wait. He was going to Maui, then it was like, no, let's do some more experiments. Then it's like, well, let's get on the next plane in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Suddenly change your mind. Red flag.
Right?
Yeah, you would think. But I
Starts-
guess because it's like the head of the shop, they're like, well, I guess it's his prerogative.
I guess they hadn't really had a chance to examine him yet and knew what he could do. And like, they were so convinced for some dumb reason that he didn't have it anymore. Did they ever think that maybe he was convincing them that he didn't have it anymore?
I guess not.
Like, I know they said that. They were like, what if you're just lying to us? And he's like, no, I really am trying. Like, I don't want you to hurt Charlie.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And that was good enough for them. I was like, oh, yeah.
That's kind of what
Yeah.
it was seemed like, where they're just like, I believe you.
You have an honest face.
Yeah. Like, there should have been...
We're holding you here captive against your will, but we believe you.
Right?
There should have been a series of protocols and checklists and red flags to look out for, and you should have gone through that list every hour if you're around him. Like, I don't understand what the, like...
But then the story wouldn't have progressed.
Well, yeah, obviously. And again, that was the only thing that made it hopeful, was like, yes, Rainbird is tricking Charlie, but Andy's tricking everyone else.
Yeah.
You're right, she said, or you don't get nothing. I like this. Like Hockstetter thought, we'll get plenty, you snotty little bitch. As it turned out, he was absolutely right. He got plenty. Little more. How did Hockstetter? What happened to him?
That was the... Oh, wait, no.
Oh no, he's the garbage disposer.
No,
no,
that's...
that's Pinchot.
Yeah, what happened to Hockstetter?
Was he part of the group that got shredded by the shrapnel from the barn when she exploded the back?
Maybe.
Oh, I don't remember.
I felt
I
like he was
love the,
gone at that point.
Yeah, I love the end there where she's. I haven't gotten to it yet, but we are. getting near an hour and a half.
We have talked about a lot at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Oh, we did a lot of pages in 2 episodes. She's escaping and the electrified fence, and then, or not she's escaping. They're trying to run from her. She's blowing everything up, and everything's on fire, and the fence is electrified. And the people that get over the fence get attacked by the dogs.
Yeah.
So they're up on the fence, and the dogs are yapping at them. Like,
Who was it?
Man.
Who was that Hockstetter?
No, that was OJ.
Oh, right.
Was
He
it?
was, because he was the one that was like, screw this, I'm getting out of here. And then he saw everyone else trying to get out of there, and he was like, I guess I'm leading the people who are running away now.
And then he was like, screw it, you guys are on your own.
Yeah.
Like, for real this time. There's, yeah, I highlighted another racist part, but I'm not even going to read that. Sometimes it's like, oh, I guess in 1980 that was cool.
I mean, I'm surprised by things that people said in 2010, so, you know.
I'm surprised by things I hear outside today.
Fair, but I mean, like, so blatantly, too.
Like how the horse was screaming. And then he says, can horses scream? Because that's the first thing I thought.
When we were talking about that at work, and I read the scene, and I was like, oh, she's not gonna like this. She was like, I hope nothing happens to the horses.
I knew it was going to. I knew. I just hoped, and I was like, and then they started shooting the horses, and I was like, God damn it!
Yeah, I was like, no.
The horses and the dogs, like, man.
I know.
I don't care about the people.
I mean, like, as long as I get the dogs kind of because the dogs were attacking the people, but the horses were just scared and running.
And they didn't. I don't think they intended to shoot horses. They were just scared as well and shooting something that was moving.
Yeah.
Like, and then once somebody, I think they even said that once somebody started firing, everybody else was firing for some reason.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then Cap starts approving everything. Like, that should be a red flag, too. Like, do this, and changing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember the memo I sent yesterday? Oh, never mind on that one. Now do this. Like, oh.
Like, how's the assistant, like, doesn't she know that they're in there alone? And she's not, like, you know.
Yeah, she's the one that's, like, packing heat and is
yeah.
Certified sniper or something, like all his secretaries. I forget how he said it.
Before she died.
Yeah, how'd that work out for her?
I'm not sure what the point of, like, I felt like we found out a lot about Cap's life, and I'm like, are we supposed to feel sorry for him? Or, like, what is this? Is painting a picture? I don't understand.
I found Cap almost sympathetic. If I knew more about him, I don't think I would. Because
I don't find him sympathetic.
The head of the shop, I'm sure, is a monster.
Exactly. Like.
But compared to Rainbird, he's likable.
Okay, but that's like comparing Trump to Putin.
Yeah. Compared to hell, Siberia's not too bad. And I don't know why I needed the physics lesson on calories and heat.
There's a lot of. I was telling.
But I didn't know that. Calorie is heat. Okay.
What does that mean? You burn. Say that. I don't remember.
That's why you burn calories.
Well, that, yeah.
In case you've forgotten your physics, occupational hazard with you shrinks. A calorie is nothing but a unit of heat. The amount of heat necessary to raise a gram of water 1 degree centigrade, to be exact. So you burn maybe 25 calories during that exhibition, but we would burn doing half a dozen sit-ups. But calories measure heat, damn it. Heat, and what she's producing is heat. Or is she? Is it coming from her or through her? And if it's the latter,
Where is it
coming from? So she's producing fire without using any calories.
Well, especially considering she was, like, my understanding is this is some kind of genetic mutation because she was born with it. So it's like, it's in her DNA.
Yeah.
So if it was coming through something, like, it, I don't know, it feels more like she's generating it in some way than it's like a magical, like, portal.
Maybe there's a whole universe behind her head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she's definitely making it. I don't know, you get the Nobel
I don't think
Prize,
Stephen King thought all that through.
Well, like I said, I think in previous books, if you start analyzing it too much, it all fails.
Right.
It's not going to work. every time they said, I even wrote that down. I wrote down Nelly. Are you guys old enough for Nelly? It's
No.
getting so hot in here.
Oh,
So take off all your
oh
clothes.
yes.
Yeah.
I am getting so.
Oh,
That plays at our work
I
occasionally.
kept singing that in my head when every time someone was like, "It's getting hot." I'm like, "It's getting so hot." I hope the movie like has the song in it.
I'm trying to find what happens to Huckster, and he just like disappears.
yeah, I was still looking for that too. It's like he just doesn't come back.
I like how it's like two antebellum houses and they just look normal, and then there's all the underground like tubes and chambers.
Well, I
and
imagine that would be how the government would do it. Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna have.
if I imagined a corrupt, secretive government, that's how I would imagine it. Because
I don't think we have to imagine a corrupt, secretive
what
government.
are you trying to say?
Why do I feel like he lives?
Well, because he has to show up in 1986.
Quick, let's get the compendium. Oh no, it'd probably just give us Hochstetter from It.
Well, that's a Dark Tower concordance, isn't it?
Oh, you're right. Is it?
Yeah. that's
Or
what
is
you
it a
got.
Stephen King one? Oh, it's Dark Tower. You're right.
It may have a Stephen King something or other up there. Well, I do have a Stephen King
Other
something or
of it,
other.
yeah.
Uh,
Few 100 something or others.
you know. Except for the DVDs.
For some reason, I feel like I remember reading that like he testifies after everything's over, and said like, "Oh, this is
Maybe.
what happened."
Sounds vaguely familiar. And why do we have Andy rupturing a blood seeped from a minute rupture in his brain, and a number of brain cells grew white and died? Okay.
Basically, to say that he would have died even without Rainbird's gunshot wound.
Yeah, he was already dying from the push.
Yeah, but they were kind of nothing ever happened again with it after that. Just kind of threw out a sentence and was like, that's what I mean. Like, I kind of think he knew he wasn't going to be around long, like, no matter what. Whether he got shot or whether so it's almost like he was, looking for the, like, Charlie, you're right. We all got to strike out on our own sometimes. Time you made your way in the world. Lollygagging around here for 8 years. My God.
And nice knowing you. Good luck with the rest of your life.
I'd love to help you, but I got this whole dying thing, so.
Did you say snakes?
Snake!
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to heaven and golf. Watch out for the snakes.
He was like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. Watch out for the snakes!
Look, so all the things Charlie does that cause her anxiety and stress and depression, and she continued. If she continued to believe in John, then the note she crumpled and flushed down a toilet was a lie with her father's name signed to it. But if she believed her father, then John was a lie. Either way, the hurt, the cost was enormous. Well, that's what being grown up was about. Dealing with the cost with the hurt. If it was, then she hoped she would die young. So that's what gets her. Not all the other stuff.
Well, finding out that the only person you trusted in the last 5 months or however long they're there is behind your betrayal.
Yeah, that.
After you've lost everyone else you've ever loved and trusted.
For that matter, why didn't she just burn him up the next time she saw him?
She didn't have a chance. Remember, he found out that she found out, and he hid in the barn.
No, I mean the next time she saw him. After she got the note, he came in and she went in the bedroom.
Oh.
She should have just been like, burn. I'm walking out of here.
Because then they would have known that something was wrong, and they wouldn't have let her go to the
Hey,
barn.
burn them. Burn them all.
She has to be able to get out of her room.
How do you know they don't just lock her in the
Burn
room?
the door. 30,000 degrees is going to melt that.
Oh, that's true. If she can
Yeah.
create, yeah.
She did liquefy a cinder block wall.
She freaking
Was
what's
it
it
on
called?
fire?
Pulverized a bullet.
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was coming out of it.
Disintegrated. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. That's a hell of a... Makes Magneto look a little tame, huh?
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
When the test,
Well,
was
no,
a
no, no.
trap.
When
No, when
when
she-
Rainbird shot at her, and then
Oh.
She burned him,
yep.
but in
Oh, that's
burning
right.
him, it burned the bullet.
He shot her dad, and blah, 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 blah. Then he shot at her. Yeah, I guess he knew his plan went to shit at that point when he was shooting her.
Well, I think he knew he was gonna die at the moment she found out
But
everything.
he didn't plan on shooting
Yeah.
her. He wanted to, like, I don't know, strangle her or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, watch her soul leave.
Yeah.
All kind of other complicated.
Whatever. Yeah. I wonder. There's a part of me that wonders if that is how someone like that would feel, where it's like you think they have no capacity for emotion, but he clearly has some. I don't even know if you call it love. It's just that he makes her feel more alive.
Yeah.
Like he makes her feel something.
Maybe that's what he
Gives her
thinks
something to
love
do,
is.
my God.
That maybe
And
that's.
he just doesn't understand.
It's a
love.
challenge. I think that's what it is.
She's been sitting around by herself, just being mad at the world for 9 months, 6 months, 5 months, whatever it was.
And I do like, in a stupid way, I appreciate when he's like, and it impressed me. Like when she, and even when Andy like tricks them, and he's like, in a weird, he says like, it impressed me, I thought for a second, and then like moves on to his next thing, or it's like smart recognizes smart.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't know you could be intelligent. Good job.
Yeah. I think it just makes him want to hunt them more.
Yeah.
Query probability, Andrew McGee, 14112. Supposed mental domination ability. Cross-ref, Herman Pinchot.
Yeah. I'm like, this is Stephen King's idea of how computer programs could work in 1980.
He's like, ooh, fancy.
like I said, I'm sure there are algorithms today that could
like-
probably do some of this stuff, but like, it's still there's a lot of leeway with what an AI could do.
I like how he put supposed, because the computer's going to know what supposed
Right,
is.
or like you said, the computer's
Yeah.
gonna know what push means.
Yeah.
Like what?
You program it.
He was
too,
like, well,
but still,
supposedly
like,
he says this.
True.
You could program push probably. Supposed would
Yeah.
be a little harder to. The computer would have to interpret.
I guess it would be just like mind. Doesn't he even say that like mental dominance?
Yes, mental domination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, computer doesn't
Query
understand mental dominance.
Probability, Andrew McGee. Supposed mental domination. Ability, Q4. 2%.
That was a pretty fun scene though, where then it was like 2% is pretty low, but if it came and it was like 90%, he's like, oh fuck.
I know, I was like, ooh, 90. That's about there. He's like, And he was kind of like, Yeah. Well, first it goes to 35 when cross-reference with.
Oh right,
Pinchot.
right. 35. That's what it was. Yeah.
And then when you cross-reference Pinchot and Andrew McGee and where is it? Cap. When you put Cap in there,
Assuming that Herman and Cap are both affected, I guess, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Andrew McGee, mental domination, probability 90%. Cross-ref, Herman Pinchot. Cross-ref, Captain James Hollister. Break. I feel like I'm in a football game. Break. Yeah, but giving her that note got Raymer's hackles up. That's what made him start investigating. I don't think he should have done. I don't know how.
What did he need to give her?
He could have just.
Oh,
Why did he need to give her a note? He could have just told Cap
He
to go
needed
get her and bring her to him.
to the stable.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
all he needed to do was bring her to the stable.
Why didn't he just tell Cap to do it? Why didn't he just? She was going to the damn stable. Oh no, she was going because he told her to go. Why didn't Cap just send somebody? Because showing up himself would have apparently been a red flag. But why didn't he just like tell one of the guards to send her out to the stable?
Yeah.
Why
I
did he need
wasn't
to?
thinking.
I mean, we knew they weren't going to make it out without a fight. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it could have been snakes. It's a valid concern. He said, maybe he'll get. Wait, what does he say? Oh, he said about going to Maui. He's like, maybe we'll get it around the golf fire out there. He's like, I don't play.
Okay, sure.
Well, if you do, watch out for snakes.
Yeah, mention golf to Charlie as well. Golf and snakes.
It also feels like John is a little too smart, like
Mm-hmm.
Deus Ex Machina smart.
I wrote big intuitive leaps.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this, then that. Oh, yeah, duh.
Like, you figured out that complicated plan rather easily.
And no one else could.
Right.
Yeah, and I like how he just like changes that he's supposed to be on the plane to never mind, I'm not on the plane, and the guy's like, so you're not on the plane? He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, okay, see you. Like, there's no like double checking the change in the itinerary or anything like that.
Well, he's not. He did it as Cap, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but
Because he was like, Cap would be surprised that I knew his
Again,
new code.
a place like that,
Right. You would think. Well, they would definitely have backups and things like that.
and again, they got a mental domination patient. Well,
Parent. Well, both.
yeah, Freud would have something to say about that, I guess. In there, so you have to be looking for any like minute change in behavior that's like out of the norm.
Oh my God! I just saw the part where they're talking to the agent, and Cap goes, "Stable." Cap said briskly, "We're going to pick up Andy's daughter, and they're going to escape."
That cracked me up. I was like, wait, did he just say that?
And Andrews Air Force Base. Andy countered and pushed.
Right. Again, nobody thought, hey, why did he say that?
Yeah.
I guess Andy forgot to tell him don't say anything.
Yeah. Don't tell them we're escaping.
See, Cap's kind of likable. I like him. I
He's
guess I
got-
like him
yeah.
after he got pushed.
His ricochet, that's what I'm saying, is much more fun than pin shots.
Yes.
Pinch shots wasn't fun at all.
Mm-mm.
I even kind of, I didn't mind Cap at the beginning either.
I've never minded him. I'm not sympathetic toward him, but
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe not sympathetic, but likable. He's kind
Yeah.
of likable.
that's what I'm just confused to why we get like it's like his assistant and his wife dying, and it's like, boo-hoo? I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, is it paint a picture of more of like his mindset at the time, maybe, and why he became obsessive about Lot 6? Actually, I think that's probably what it is.
What?
Yeah.
He became more
Or-
obsessive about everything after losing the people close to him.
Well, and also why he maybe, like, doesn't. No one notices the behavior change because there's no one close enough to him that they would know he was acting any different.
Maybe that's it. But what about, he doesn't think about that, he doesn't use pin shot nearly the same way. You're right.
Doesn't he have a
Yeah.
family?
His wife died, and his assistant died. One of them, I think, committed suicide. I don't remember.
Well,
I mean, maybe Rainbird's actually the
cancer.
closest person to him.
Maybe they were both cancer?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the whole Rainbird Cap dynamic was just weird. Like, when he tries to stand up to Rainbird, I'm like, buddy, just sit down.
Good luck.
Use your turn, Saber. Yeah, but he is Rainbird's boss, so
No, he's not.
well,
He thinks he is.
he officially is. Rainbird's always like, oh yeah, I already knew that. He's like, how'd you know that? Don't you worry about it.
I'm pretty sure Rainbird is above him.
Rainbird's like a computer.
And Cap doesn't get to know that Rainbird's above him.
Rainbird definitely seems to have access to things that Cap thinks he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. But it's like Cap's an idiot and Rainbird's a genius, so why shouldn't he have access?
Yeah.
He's also, you know,
Genius is a big
when you're an
word.
assassin for a living, people tend to do what you tell them.
That's true. He even says that, like when he goes to look at the footage, the guy was like, I just wanted him to leave me alone. I didn't want to be in that room with him any longer. To see Cap in the camera.
Yeah.
Why would... So he climbs up in the barn. Like, what was his plan? Just to talk her into walking up the ladder? Like he had some kind of mental domination?
Yes.
Because it seemed to be working.
I think
for
he
some
wanted
reason.
to draw her out.
Like that whole thing where she couldn't help herself but to walk up the ladder. I wasn't really buying that.
I forgot about that.
And then Andy shows up in the nick of time before, and then she almost walked up the ladder again when we're doing the old come this way, no, come this way, no, come that way.
Well,
Like
he was
Rainbird
trying
was
to
winning
save-
over Andy. I'm like, no, she's known this guy for what, like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, but he was acting as a father figure when
But her father was
father wasn't there.
But her father was there.
It's been 6 months. a lot changes in that time, especially when you've been conditioned.
What have you done for me lately?
Right.
He was close to building up like Stockholm syndrome type levels of trust.
And he got fat.
No, not Rainbird was.
Oh. I don't think.
Of course, she trusts her dad.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. She's been conditioned to trust him, so even though it's her dad, it's like he's not the one that's been there for her recently.
Okay. So I guess we're at the end, huh?
Still can't find what happened to Hochstetter.
Yeah, I never saw his name after that.
Yeah.
After the tests.
Oh well. Guess it's not important.
He went Toadash and ended up in Derry.
And younger?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he went Toadash, so he could travel through time.
Okay, yeah, different dimension. Or different world.
Don't they go... No, different topic. Don't they go Toadash to go to New York from the Kala?
Yeah, they do a lot of time traveling.
Right, but they're in Toadash when they try and travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
But they can't do it without the...
Anyway.
Yeah.
So... I like... There's a lot of visuals at the end, actually. I mean, first I thought Rainbird died a little too easily. I was disappointed in that part of the end, but the way... Well, I'm calling this the end, even though there's like 40 more pages, but to me, this
basically the end.
This is the end. This is the climax. So like, there's a lot of fiery visuals. So like, while I was reading it, I could see everything that was happening. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You're talking about the hypnosis. That's her debating with herself over whether or not, like, killing herself would be best for the world. That's how I interpret that. Because she says it was like hypnosis. Because even though she understood the shape of the dark truth, her feet began to move toward the ladder. It was ending the doubt, the misery, the fear, ending the temptation.
She was suicidal.
Well, she in that moment, that's what that was. It was her saying, like, going to him because it's easier to let go than to try to fight. That's how I interpret that. Not that he's actually mind controlling her.
Yeah.
Like I said.
And also, she doesn't know her dad's coming for her. Like, she knows there's
but she does it after he gets there, too.
Oh. What a little...
Because she wants to save her dad at that point.
She's 8.
Yeah, I know, I'm kidding.
I call bullshit. She's 8. So we should just, like, say that altogether. I like it going back a little bit, but I like the safe analogy. Like, what good is blowing up the safe if you can't get the money inside?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
So, like, at some point, if they can't get it out of the safe, let there to carry with fire. Then it's no good to you. I wrote burning poop, but I'm not sure why.
Because they're in the stable.
Yeah, Sadaka could hear horses whinnying and screaming inside. Could see the lurid red-orange gleam of fire as the flames raced into the loss of dry hay. Yeah. Well, that would be exploding burning poop. I don't know why I thought of that. Now, that changes the visual altogether.
Oh, well then she's because he threatens to kill her dad. That's why. He says, "Come up, Charlie, or I'm going to put a bullet in your father's head right now. You can burn me, but I think I can pull the trigger before it happens."
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Burn!
Zap, zap, zap.
Mm-hmm.
Burn, and you'll burn the bullet.
Also, he says, "I'll try to resist you long enough to shoot your daughter." It's like, what makes you think you can resist him? I don't know. Like, what is that?
Nobody ever thought of that before.
Especially because he said smarter people are easier to push.
Yeah. Which, that never made sense to me.
Yeah, and then the shop people just...
Stephen Kingism.
Like, I got caught in two thoughts at the same time. They just start firing on the horses. I was so mad at that.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I wrote, what the fuck? Like,
was
why did we need to do that?
Sitting there next to you, reading that scene after we had just talked about it, and I was like, oh god, I hope she can't see what's happening right now.
Like, goddamn.
No, I got to it a couple days later. I think I was even reading it at work, and I was like,
No.
no.
Yeah, like the shop people aren't nice anyway, so fuck them.
Yeah.
Damn it, necromancer. He flew 40 feet. Not a man anymore, but a boiling ball of fire. I love that. Because I don't know, how long does a human body last at 30,000 degrees?
Probably
How hot's a
not.
crematorium? Like 5,000 or something, right?
12,000 maybe.
Maybe I should ask.
They mentioned it on Ozark. I'm pretty sure. Because they buy a funeral home. If you would watch it.
I watched 2.5 seasons. I'm
Mhm.
still trying to get through the whole casino, mafia guy's kid is showing up every day.
Crematorium is 1,800.
Oh.
Wow.
What was I thinking?
So 30,000 would not be a
Instantly.
Incinerate?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be a boiling ball of fire. You would just be
Ash.
Dust.
like passing through the sun on your way to nowhere. And you're not making it out the other side. Fucking instant vaporization.
Oh yeah, he calls it a blowout. Ugh.
The push.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The thought was thick and sludgy.
Ugh.
that's actually a pretty good visual
Mm-hmm.
or a pretty good description.
The entire left side of his body had gone numb.
So she blows up the barn, and they go running from that. Those that aren't on fire already. Well, then she starts playing like whack-a-mole with some of the people
Mm-hmm.
with the
Yeah.
fire. So the ones that get away from her, then go to the fence, which is electrified still or not.
She,
Well, they're
she zapped the fence at one point, and it like blew some of the transformers. So I think parts of it were electrified and
Yeah,
parts
so
of it were.
okay.
Well, and then plus,
They're
yeah.
trying to climb up the non-electrified like part that was only so wide.
Yeah.
And the dogs are like, hey, buffet.
Yeah.
And then they started getting shot in the face, so they kind of backed off a little bit. Like, yeah, man, between the horses and the dogs, what the hell? Should have had people chasing them and shoot them in the face.
Oh, it was Don Jules. That's who was
The
the one
boiling
that
ball
was
of fire.
in charge.
Oh, he's also the boiling ball of fire. I just like saying that.
Yeah, he's saying stop shooting at the horses and
Uh-huh. Like, they just wanted to shoot something. They were terrified.
yeah.
They were scared as the horses. Yeah, and so and the lady was like, "You're a monster. Get the fuck out of here." Like, what are you gonna do? Light me on fire again?
Yes.
Like if and then we do 20 pages of Charlie at the Mandarin, so I could have lived without most of that.
This last blowout scene does remind me, or the last big fire explosion reminds me of the final flood from from It, where like everything was leveled out and destroyed, and it's like a start over.
Yep.
Yeah, he destroyed Derry, I think, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah, which, if you were gonna leave the book where you did, what was the point of showing the shop rebuilding?
I don't remember that.
It's like there's the guy who looks like a librarian who's not a librarian
Right.
talking to the new
Right.
captain.
Right. The woman.
he?
Yeah.
She's like, go get him or find him or some shit.
Yep.
Just to let us know that they're still chasing them, which is
It's
like,
like
duh.
They actually
Yeah.
are watching the papers. His first mistake was thinking that they would just give up.
Yeah. Twice.
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, she should just started walking down the road lighting fucking shit on fire. They would have figured out that she can do it. That she has to hide from the judgy small town folk. We're like, where did that girl come from?
Also, the computer says there's an 80% probability we can bring the committee her dead body without lifting a finger, except to ID her. Is it suicide? I was like, why is that an 80% chance? Like, I understand the logic, but why it seems so arbitrary.
600 cross ref been shot.
Yeah, right. Like, 80%? All right.
I don't even
whatever.
know what the numbers mean. That must be some like 90 Pascal code or something. So, yeah, she goes to Rolling Stone in the end.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like it definitely could have just ended even before you get to the new shops part.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it could have ended with
They were
her just
never-
walking away.
They
By
were
the
never
way-
going to catch her again.
The paper bag that she robbed the payphone was full of quarters. In 1980, phones had dimes.
That was the other thing I was going to mention. That never would have worked today because there's no payphones anywhere, at least not to have money in them.
Right.
But also,
Well, there could have been. If she had the push, there's so many other things.
she had telekinetic powers. I don't know if she had the
I
push.
thought she did have some push because she had what Andy had, only better.
Well, she didn't have the mental domination that Andy had. She had the
I thought she did.
Like, telekinetic almost.
She could move, yeah, I don't
where
think
she could move objects, but she could physically push them and not mentally
Okay.
push them.
Whatever. So,
That we know of.
Physically push
so
them
get
with
the
your
cash
mind.
register and bring it
Yeah.
with you. So, I mean, there was easier ways.
But
to
if
do
there
that.
were dimes in them, then that makes it even more of a stupid plan. But
I like how, while Firestarter is just a novel and made up, the undeniable fact is that the U.S. government or agencies thereof has indeed administered potentially dangerous drugs. Tell me how you really feel. Although he's not wrong, they did do the LSD experiments
hmm
that I know of. That's Wormwood. I was talking about that last time.
And you know that's where this idea came from. That's such a Stephen King thing. Is he heard the story and then thought, "Whoa, what if then?"
Yeah. What if it was a made-up drug who did some crazy shit?
And then two of them got together and they had a kid who was off the charts.
What would they do with someone like that? Well, they'd want to put him in a lab.
They couldn't let him go. They'd have to catch them.
Yeah, see? It writes itself. Yeah, every time I read this, it's like you so got that from the LSD experiments by the CIA. That's like exactly what that sounds like. So, I guess that's it. Any thoughts?
It was fun. It was,
Nice short read.
yeah. The Witching Hour was an experience. I'm glad I read the book, but this was a nice, felt like a little snack after that.
That's why I used to read
Yes.
Dean Koontz after a big Stephen King book because I needed a break.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Koontz was always a little more lighthearted and easier to, you didn't have to do all the character development. They just were what they were, and
That's kind of what this
here's where
story
they are,
was.
and let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
he kind of got caught in the middle in this one, I think, because there was some development and some history, like just enough almost to keep you going. But there was a lot of parts I was like, I wonder what that was about, and what's the backstory there. But overall, I was a little. The second half was not as much fun, I think, as the first half.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The chasing and him flashing back to being chased the first time and the scene at the farm, all of that was just exciting.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it had your adrenaline up for the first half, and then you just you turn into Andy. You're like, okay, and we're dragging, and we're not paying
Mhm.
attention.
Now nothing's happening for 200 pages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Government bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Although he went from being, it only took him 50 pages to go from a drug addict to sober, so that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It's not hard when you can mind control yourself out of it.
Right? You mind control yourself out the damn building.
He tried.
Yeah.
It was, I guess he did do that a couple times.
He kind of did, actually.
He
Yeah.
went to a funeral and came back for some fucking reason.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even think about that.
Well,
he
you
was
had to-
out.
What about Charlie?
Just mentally dominate her to burn her way out.
Did we ever, I guess we never dove into if he can do it from afar.
Right? Could he call her up and be like, hey, do this?
Well, there were no cell phones, so can they...
Well, it would have been on a payphone that cost him a dime.
Interrupt.
Probably could have. He could have
Call from
reversed
Cap's office.
the charges. A collect call from not me.
Not Andy escaping.
Right. Don't say doing your wife. Okay. Yeah, I liked it. It was a little, I think, slow in the second half, but then, kind of
Not for long though.
shit got blown up again.
The fact that the story itself is just so short, none of it felt like it dragged on.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Charlie now, maybe.
Like Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. Maybe not. Like he was. I didn't want him to be that old.
He had already been through life's problems by then.
Yeah. He had already done the addictions that Stephen King had and came out the other side. Yeah, because he was doing all the AA speak in Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Got anything?
Should we tell them what we're reading next?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Next, we are starting Salem's Lot. I don't think we have figured out. I think Salem's Lot is like 600 something, so I think that's. I'm not gonna try to do that in two. So.
Oh, not okay.
You're thinking yes?
Oh.
300 per.
My only problem is I think we'll talk forever if we do that.
It's gonna make the podcast like 4 hours long each time.
Then at least 3.
3 probably.
Hey, look at that content. So, part 1, part 2, and part 3. Well, that worked out.
Are they equal?
Part 1 is up to 263. Part 2 is up to 471. So
damn. Yeah.
So part 2 is 200 pages. Part 1's a little long, and then part 3 is 641.
About 200
from 457.
But then there's an epilogue. So I mean, it can't be. No, I'm not doing that. But the epilogue can't be that long. So they're all about 200, with part 1 a little longer. So,
oh yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah, I like when it breaks up like that. And there's a prologue. So you got 17 pages of prologue, and then 250 pages of part 1.
Okay.
Cool.
So, episode 34 will be part 1 of Salem's Lot, the Marston House. Ooh, the Marston House. Makes me think of the house on Nebo Street. No, not the Nebo Street house.
Isn't it called the Mars? What is it called? It starts with an M.
I don't know. That's a story for another Earth. We're not in Keystone.
Well, technically, that's in the in whatever. What is it? What is the real world called?
Keystone.
Yeah.
Keystone Earth. All right. In the podcast, everybody say bye.
Bye.